Welcome to the Dingus Den for a brand new special interview video. We're here to have two special comic pros. I'm excited that you all are here, and I'm excited to get into it to talk about Bronze Star. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Dingus Den.
Yeah, I was just in San Antonio.
Yeah. So, you all are here to talk about Bronze Star, a special indie book that you all put together, and I'm excited to check it out. Right now, there is the Kickstarter campaign for Bronze Star 2 going on, which we'll get into all the details of what that entails here in a moment. But yeah, let's get into the basics of what is Bronze Star? What's the pitch for Bronze Star that you all tell to sell people?
Well, I'd wanted to work with Pat forever, and we met about 10 years ago in San Antonio, but Pat was still committed to the big two doing monthly comics. About 3 years ago, he said, "I'm free." I said, "Pat, what do you want to draw?" He said, "I want to draw a supernatural Western." So the gears started turning, and I came up with Bronze Star. I don't want to give too much away, but if you watch the video, it explains a lot about the first book. It's called Bronze Star because the sheriff can't touch silver. The protagonist is Harley Brogdon. He's a Confederate veteran who rode with Quantrill's raiders until they raided Kansas and committed those atrocities. Harley split then, and he headed north, making his way by providing meat for the army and playing poker. He gets in a poker game with this ego-obsessed young snot who accuses him of cheating. Harley doesn't cheat, but this
typical rich kid.
Yeah, typical rich kid. He rises, he draws his gun, and Harley reflexively pulls his own gun and shoots him, unaware that the boy is the son of a wealthy rancher who will stop at nothing to see Harley hanged. So he puts a posse together and they start chasing Harley all the way through Wyoming, through Montana, into mountains, and into Alberta. Finally ends up at a tiny town at the base of the Rocky Mountains called Cobb's Gap. Cobb's Gap was created about 10 years before Harley arrived by the discovery of silver in a mine up the canyon. But as soon as the silver rush began, it ended because everybody who went in the mine never came out. A few brave souls went in to look, and some came out with tales of finding desiccated corpses. Others never came out, and they concluded that the mine was haunted. So that was the end of the silver rush, and everybody left except for the people who came there to live off the mine by servicing the miners, which is maybe 500 or 600 people. They call themselves the ass end of nowhere. And every time Harley introduces himself, they say, "What are you running from?" Because nobody goes to Cobb's Gap unless they're running from something. The sheriff is Stepan Dubček. He's from Croatia. He's a good man, good sheriff. But for 3 days each month, he has to leave town because he has become a werewolf. He was not a werewolf in Croatia. He became a werewolf in Cobb's Gap because of the mine, because of the curse of the mine. And the first issue dealt with that curse and how they finally overcame it. But the sheriff gave his life for the town. He went berserk. He killed a bunch of the posse. But then he was so crazed on his bloodlust that he turned on Harley, and Harley had to kill him with the badge that he wore as deputy, which was made of silver. So Harley becomes sheriff of Cobb's Gap. We have a groove here in which we have to deal with supernatural threats. So I looked them up. Supernatural threats to the Pacific Northwest. Every Indian tribe of that area has the same demons in their pantheon, most prominent of which is the Wendigo. Now, if you've seen the art, if you watch the video, you've seen Pat's Wendigo. Not only is it the most faithful to the legend, but it's the most frightening Wendigo ever drawn. And that's what the first story is about. Second story deals with another supernatural threat called Ogopogo. Think the Loch Ness Monster. It's a Canadian version of the Loch Ness Monster that has been part of their legend for centuries, since long before the Europeans came. And as we did in the first story, we offered an 8-page lagniappe, little add-on story at the rear. And this one features Oscar Wilde coming to Cobb's Gap to lecture the miners about the aesthetics of art. Now, you may think, what? A lot of people don't know who Oscar Wilde was. He was a British wit and playwright. He wrote The Portrait of Dorian Gray, and he was very effete. He was dressed like a dandy. He was not the type of person you would think miners would welcome. But in 1880, he came to Leadville, Colorado, which is not far from where I live, and he lectured the miners about the aesthetics of art, and they loved him. They gave him a standing ovation. So after that, he goes to Cobb's Gap. That's the final story in the book. But of course, the main part deals with the Wendigo and the Ogopogo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm very much looking forward to checking it out. I think it's a really cool blend of sort of genres there of Western and supernatural going and being mixing them together. Not something that you really see much, I think. And I think it's also really cool too. You bring up the point of we're seeing a classic version of a Wendigo, which we don't really get to see, and I think that's a great selling point for this. So
Have
I'm
you
excited to see
seen the
that.
first graphic novel?
No, I have not yet.
Well, send me your email and I'll send you a PDF.
All right, you got it. But I do have backed the first, both of them, so I'm excited to check them out
Oh, thank you.
as well. And so, yeah, it was one of those things that when I saw Pat advertising this when we met back in Lexington, I was just like, this looks so cool, having seeing the different sort of creatures and Western mix there. And so I thought that was all really cool. But yeah, so to my understanding, this came about when essentially Pat said that you were you're tired of superhero stuff, correct?
Yeah.
And so, two-part question: why is it that you got tired of that? And then B, what is it that made you want to do Western supernatural?
Well, okay, I've been doing what I call the spandex characters for 40-something years, 45 years.
Long time.
And I liken it to you can only eat McDonald's so long. I wanted some steak in my life.
That's fair.
I always respected Mike's writing. I was a huge fan of his from his Capital Comics days. Okay, and when he asked me that question, it didn't take me long to answer it because there's like two genres that I've never been asked to draw. Well, no, one absolutely not, and that's westerns. The other would be horror or supernatural. I did get to draw Swamp Thing for a year, but I was inked by Alfredo Alcala. It did not look like my work. It looked like Alfredo's work. Okay, and when Mike asked me that, it was like it just jumped out of my mouth. I'd love to do a western, but it's got to be a supernatural one for today's market. Not that Mike wouldn't write a wonderful western without supernatural elements in it, but why not? It's not like we're having him run into Dracula yet, but he's sticking to the Indian folklore gives us plenty of material.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I think that's a lot of great inspiration to draw from that. I feel like your average person isn't quite familiar with a lot of that, but like there is a lot of rich like ideas that you could draw from there. And so I think it'll be cool to see how much we could get of this, since there's a lot to pull from.
I wish I could tell you about the third one. I wish very excited about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. So, just to lightly touch on it, I assume this is something that would go on for as long as people keep on supporting it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I haven't even thought about the fourth one yet. I'm working on
Sure.
17 projects at once, always, all the time. But when I work on a project, I give it my total concentration. I may
Mhm.
work on 3 different projects a day, but whichever one I'm working on gets my concentration.
Sure.
Yeah,
Do you ever find it hard to balance so many different projects?
No, not really.
Yeah. I just see your name on so many things, and it's just like, you're a busy guy. Plus, doing different podcasts and stuff too. I've seen you on plenty of others as well, and your own. And so,
I try to stay busy.
definitely looks that way.
Keeps me out of trouble.
he's, he's an inspiration as an elderly gentleman for me. Okay.
So, so has Bronze Star been the only art that you've been or work that you've mainly been that you've done for an actual like book? Like I know you've done other like art and covers and cover sketches and all that. But is Bronze Star the only interiors you've been doing for a book since then?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been 3 years now, Mike.
Yeah.
Well, when I got my script, okay, and this is a true explanation of what really happened. Reading it, I was inspired, and when I got into it, I found that I was spending a lot of time on each page because I loved the concept and the settings, especially. And I told Mike, you know, that time I was probably maybe halfway into the book. Mike, I told him, I said, if I never draw another spandex character again, I'm a happy man. 70. I was 70 at the time. I'm going on 73 this year. How many years have I got ahead of me? You know, working. So I looked at this like I'm going to give it my all, and it's 64 pages. Multiply that times 3. Okay, and that's a year's worth of work.
Yeah.
So I'd love to be able to draw it faster, but I'm not going to sacrifice on the standard that I've set. You know, it's going to be this much work for everyone. So.
Yeah. I mean, just when we look at what you've done here, it's absolutely amazing art that you've done here, and it's just you can tell that there's a lot of details with all of this.
Yeah. He draws every shingle on the roof.
Yeah, right. And just so having all these details, it's the fact that you get to spend more time and that you do spend more time with it, I think really does show, and it's one of the special things I think with supporting something like this. Of just I don't mean this as a knock by any mean for any like comic publisher, but it's just like, you know, those artists obviously don't get as much time to spend for something like this, and so you just can't reach this level of detail of what you're getting, which is awesome to see here.
Well, we're trying to give them a product that's superior to anything that they're putting out right now. And you're right, the artists that are on the books, they can't afford to spend 3 days on a page, or 2 days on a page, or half a day on the page from some of the stuff I've seen.
Sure.
Also, it's not in the what I like to call the Brad Pitt style good guy face that seems to be synonymous across whatever company you're working for. And it's God damn it, there's still us. There's still a market out there. There's still readers my age and Mike's age and younger than us that appreciate what we're doing. And I think there's a lot more of them once they know that we're doing something steady on a regular basis.
For sure.
That's how I feel about it. I know it. I know it shows in the black and white work because there are times when I'm happy just doing a quarter page. If that quarter page knocks my socks off, find it.
So I know for the Kickstarter you're doing like a special black and white version. You all care to speak about what exactly that is?
Oh, gee, I wonder if I have one in the other room. You have to see it to believe it. It's oversized, and it contains. When you look at it, you're going to understand immediately why we had to do it because the art is just overwhelming, and the detail that he puts into it. It's a completely different book in black and white. You look at it and you fall into that page.
Sure.
It will take you much longer to read the black and white version than the color version. Because you are just so mesmerized by the detail. He draws not only every shingle on the roof, he draws every rock in the street and behind on the mountains. He draws the trees. The horses are perfect. You'd think Pat grew up on a ranch. He draws horses as well as Vale my Eric, and Vale has horses. Horses are hard to draw.
That's why I wiped every one of them, Mike. Okay.
If you see a badly drawn horse, you will know it. You will know that badly drawn horse.
It's funny.
Yeah, that's how we were taught. When I was 19, working at continuity, Neil said, "Pat, if you don't know how to draw it, get a photograph." And I had to. I couldn't proceed further until I even showed Neil the photographs I was going to use as a slide. And the greatest experience I got out of that was they trained me how to work. You don't just dive in, write a story. You have to understand the concept of an outline. Or shit, go to school or pick up, any novel about writing. I'm sorry, any book about writing from college, and it'll tell you the basics to understand and how to use them. And it's the same thing with art. My art, I saw a marked improvement with my storytelling when I started teaching storyboarding for the cinema in school. Because before that, I was just doing storyboards for commercials, Mike. That's like, doing just one comic book page, and then you're done with the scene. Instead of being able to build an environment and introduce the characters and then bring them through it, like we've done with Bronze Star. That's why those buildings have shingles. Building that environment. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome stuff. It's truly awesome. Just look at that. Wendigo right there is just so good looking. And terrifying too.
It's a good looking Wendigo. Looking and terrifying like a Kardashian.
Well, they're okay till they talk.
That's one way to put it. No, think about it that way, but
how'd you go from a 10 to a 2? She speaks. She opens her mouth.
But yeah, no, this looks awesome. I can't wait to see the finished product of this whole Wendigo story, and as well as you're talking about the, what was it called? The
Ogopogo. Yeah.
That. So
if you the Ogopogo, go back up a little bit. There's the Ogopogo cover on the right. Go back down. It's the big snake. Yeah, right there. It's the one on the right. That was drawn by Rags Morales.
Yeah.
Okay. I really like that cover. I'm one of those people that I first and foremost I'm there for the writing of the story, and I like to read as much as I can. So with that being said, I'm not one of those people that tries to go like collect every single one of the covers of something, because I'd much rather use that money to go see other people's work, right? But when I was looking at all these covers, I was like, I had a very hard time deciding which one I wanted out of all of them, because they're all just awesome. And so, but yeah, that's awesome work there.
Thank you.
The Go Pogo there.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, it's a fine product. You know.
Awesome stuff. So, so this is the second one, and I did see this one has like an anthology approach to it. Does the second one read as something that you could just get into without the first one?
Well, we bring you up to speed in the story. It doesn't go into great detail, but I want the readers who have not read number one, and there won't be that many of them, because everybody who read number one is going to order this book, and a lot more are going to order it because they never did read number one.
Right.
They'll be able to get this double book. But the story of Cobb's Gap comes out naturally when the characters are talking, when new people ride into town and they say, what's going on? And we heard the mine was haunted and what happened to the old sheriff. That stuff just comes out organically from the story, the way you would learn about it if you arrived fresh in town and started talking to people.
Sure. Yeah, we'd tell you to head over to Dortmunders, have a drink. Because that's where you'll learn everything.
Nice. And how big is it? How long of a book can people expect?
56 pages of story, and then some extras.
Nice, awesome.
Is that? I've got some concept work in the artist edition, Mike, or is it the compendium?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Chris is going to curse us out. How can you not be familiar with every detail of this campaign? I'm thinking of putting in a chapter or two of the novel. Just signed a contract with Dusty Saddles, which is the foremost Western publisher in the world right now, and they're publishing my the first Bronze Star novel in August.
Oh.
Novel is not the graphic novel. It's a lot more. It's a literary experience. It's much richer. And the publisher said, well, we're going to want a sequel. So I wrote the sequel. I have 2 novels now in the lineup for Dusty Saddles. And if he wants a third, I'm prepared to write it because I've already written the graphic novel.
Nice. That's awesome. That actually... I did have something I want to ask you, Mike, because I noticed I was looking at all the stuff that you've done, and I noticed that you've been putting a lot more work into actually writing novels as opposed to mainly just comics. What is it that made you want to start doing novel work and doing a mixture of both?
Well, that's what I originally set out to do. I was inspired as a kid by John D. MacDonald novel, and when I held that book in my hands outside the cigar store where I bought it, I thought, well, this guy isn't doing this for his health. He's writing for a living.
Right.
I decided to be a writer. It just so happens that I hit in comics through a combination of luck and talent. And then I had a long career in comics. But then I fell out of the system through nobody's fault but my own. I went through 10 very difficult years. I had to take any job I could get. I was a janitor for a while. I hardly wrote anything. But then I said, enough's enough. I'm going to get back to it. And when I got back to it, I learned that I understood the novel. I understood what constitutes story. When you understand that, You don't have writer's block. It's like you're standing on a mountain and you can see that story winding before you like a mighty river, and you know what to do. I may stop for a minute because I don't know exactly what happens next, but I'm not going to force it. And when I research things, I find things that surprise me and that affect the course of the story. For instance, I did a lot of research for Bronze Star 2 about Oscar Wilde, among others, and about the nature of the silver mine and the nature of gold mine. That comes to the fore in issue number 3. We'll say that they gave up on the mine, but they found gold in the river, which precipitates a gold rush. And now
Yes.
Cobb's Gap explodes from 600 to 2,000 overnight. That's a problem for Harley, who has to hire another deputy. You'll meet that deputy in issue number 3. In fact, you'll meet 2 new deputies. I don't want to say who they are because one of them is a historical figure.
Nice.
It will delight readers. But again, I researched this figure and found out that it was available.
That's cool.
Excellent. We'll have to talk about this. I want to see how you're handling it.
Well, you got the script, Pat.
Oh, I know, but unfortunately, I have not yet found an application that's opening the damn thing for me.
I'll see if I could send it to you.
It's got to be very old school, okay, format.
I'll print it out and mail it to you in a manila envelope.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Can't get much more old school than that.
Hey, look, I take them down to Kinko's and I have them printed out because I like having that script.
I know,
absolutely.
I do too. I was like paper stuff. I won't have a digital. I'm not going to read a digital novel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way, Mike. I curse the digital comics, but technology does change.
Yeah, I definitely prefer my physicals when I can.
Yeah. I print out a Bible of our stuff as it's going along, Mike. You've seen that. I think I've given you one once they were completed.
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Black and white, spiral bound.
A Bible?
Okay, I thought I gave you one for our first one.
No.
Anyway, so I notice you all are working with someplace called Big Studios. Is this the first time working with them?
No, I've been working with Chris for 5 years now, since the first Florida Man graphic novel. Chris Brawley is Big Studios. He runs our campaigns. He's changed our lives for the better. He's an inspirational person. I try not to do anything without consulting with Chris.
Awesome.
Yep. He's the other good-looking, bald-headed man I know.
All right. So, yeah, that's awesome. Having this Bronze Star book looks awesome. I'm really excited to check out this new one. I think it looks the idea, like I said, the idea is something that definitely just grasps me, and I'm just so interested in seeing it, looking forward to reading it, honestly. Especially, when you have a promo image like
Well, I'm confident you're going to love it.
That's the Ogopogo Lake Serpent. Right there.
Yeah, there you go. That looks awesome. I remember seeing this specific advertisement, and it looks pretty cool. So, but yeah, awesome stuff you have going on. Before we wrap up this main interview bit, I do have a couple other things to ask, such as, you all are spent so many years working in the field. I want to know, what is it after all this time? What still keeps you all motivated to keep on making these stories?
I just love telling stories. I mean, that's my life as a writer. Inspiration can strike anywhere, and it strikes me all the time. I carry a notepad and pen with me at all times, and I advise everybody to do the same. When you write something down by hand, it fixes it in your mind a lot more firmly than if you click it into your device.
Sure.
And although like you, I'm reliant on my phone, just like everybody else is, and my computer to a certain degree.
Sure.
But when I don't have my computer, I will write in longhand, and I've written many chapters while at comic conventions at the table between visits.
Nice.
Me, I was born to draw comics. That's all I can say. I've always loved drawing, but I fell in love with comics back in '63. It's just been my passion, which was why I was so startled. I know that I draw well, but I've forgotten what it was like to be inspired. Okay? So when Mike handed me that script and I got into it, it hasn't stopped since that day.
That's awesome. I'd love to hear that. With all the stuff that you all have done, like, I'm sure everything that you do is like you're a child, right? Every single work. But is there anything that stands out the most to you, that you're like the most proud of, that you've worked on or that you've done?
Who, me?
That goes to both of you.
I don't really, as I said, I haven't sent anything out of this house for the last 15 years that hasn't been a home run. I'm proud of all of that stuff.
Sure.
I'm very proud of Broad Star. I'm proud of the next book we're going to do. Which I wish I could tell you. But which is Ignite the Firestorm. But I will say this: Private American 2 is in the works, and it's going to make your head explode.
Okay.
Good. For me, I mean, I'm a nerd, a comic nerd, okay? And every time I get something that I'm having fun with, time ceases to be a concept, it doesn't matter. So my most proud work I would have to say, would be the stuff I've turned out for the last 6-7 years. The work I was doing before Bronze Star hasn't been published yet, is Shatter 2.0. And Peter Gillis was the writer on that. And it is sci-fi. I'm reluctant to go back to sci-fi again for the very same reasons I'm reluctant to go back to superheroes again. All right. But I put that amount of work into it, and it will be published. There's 6 issues of it. First publishing.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I'm knocking it out of park with Bronze Star. I'm loving everything I do on it, even the tiny panels, Mike.
Pat's the only person I know who draws 4 or 5 more panels on a page than I put in the script.
That's awesome. Definitely seems like one of those pieces that just, the art is just amazing, and I can't wait to see what stories are inside of it that's going to tell as well. And so,
yeah, Mike sees his work like a flowing river in front of him because he knows it so well. I get lost in the eddies while I'm going down that river. That's what I tell him when I got a 5-panel page and I'm laying it out and I'm swept up in it, and I look down and suddenly it's 8 panels, and it's like, oh, okay. Okay, we got to work this out somehow. So.
But he opens it up when it needs to be open.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, this has been a great time chatting with you all about Bronze Star. I hope everyone listening goes check it out. At the time of recording, There's only 10 days left, and which means that by the time this actually gets posted, and you all are listening, it still has just over a week still left. And so make sure you go support it. Always important to go support indie comics and all that stuff. I think, it's always great to see all the different special work that you'd, find out there that you can't really find anywhere else, which is awesome to see. Especially from awesome creators like these two that have such a rich history working with both Marvel and DC, and now doing other things, which is really cool to see. And so, awesome stuff. But before we do get out of here, is there anything else that you all want to highlight that you are working on, coming up, that you'd like to shout out?
I'd like people to take a look at my novel Disco. It's a coming-of-age story. It's on Amazon. Disco by Mike Barron. It's about a boy who adopts a mongrel pup and trains it to be world disc dog champion. It's Rocky for dogs.
Nice.
Cool.
I can get behind that. I like it. Anything else that you'd like to shout out, Pat, before we wrap this up?
Let me see. I've got show appearances, but they can check boards and whatnot for that, ahead of me. And then I'll be starting Bronze Star, and hopefully we'll be having a conversation like this time next year for number 2.
Awesome. No, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Like we've been saying, go support Bronze Star. It looks really cool, and I want everyone to go check it out. It looks so good. So, but thank you all, everybody, for checking out this video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you like what I'm doing here. If you want to see more videos like these, more of these special interview videos, as well as whatever other comic content I do, as I keep myself busy doing whatever. And so, but without further ado, thank you all, everybody, so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time here in the Dingus Den. Laters, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Adios.